As RM students readjust to in-person classes, many students have added extracurriculars and clubs to their list of things to juggle. This year, most clubs began holding interest meetings after the club fair, which took place on September 24th and 27th. At the club fair, students advertised their clubs with colorful trifold boards, lively speeches and performances, and of course, bowls of candy. Most clubs are transitioning to meeting in person in different ways based on their purpose and focus. For example, RM's chapter of HOSA, short for Health Occupations Students of America, is a career-based club that organizes community events and experienced some difficulties last year due to the pandemic.
My name is Evelyn. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm a junior and I'm the competitive events coordinator in Richard Montgomery's chapter of Health Occupations Students of America, or HOSA. We think that it's actually been pretty good transitioning from a virtual environment to in person, because it was really hard to connect with all of the members online, and as a result of that, our club was not quite as active as we wanted it to be.
Conference and event-based clubs with open membership, such as Model UN, have registered for a mix of in-person and virtual events, with plans to attend more in-person conferences in the spring and to host a live conference at RM this winter.
Richard Montgomery Model UN is basically a club that goes on lots of trips to have committees and conferences where you get to dress up and usually stay overnight in hotels at Georgetown or in New York City. We've always had a heavy emphasis on an in-person environment because the conferences are usually in person. So the transition to virtual was a little bit more complicated for us. And transitioning back to in-person is relatively easy because we're really just going back to what we've always had and always known, which is attending conferences in person, dressing up, and just staying overnight and getting all that transportation. But I think that our officers have been doing a really good job with that.
RM's mock trial team, which usually attends mock court cases at the local Rockville courthouse, expects to compete on Zoom again this year.
It's my suspicion that we will be probably competing on Zoom, which we did last year. That worked out okay. Obviously, it's not like competing in person. Historically, these matches were held at the county courthouse. Obviously, since the pandemic, that's been difficult too.
For RM's Philosophy Club, which is discussion-based, meeting in person has garnered more interest and a larger group of people to connect and share ideas with.
RM Philosophy has always been a relatively tiny club. Online was not great for us. We only had around 4 or 5 members at most, 2 of which were the club leaders last year. So we adapted. We didn't require we didn't need to be in person, so it did work while we were online, but of course it's much better to be in the room together, talking face to face, and I'm really happy that we're back here, though it isn't affordable.
Whether it's returning to hosting and attending events, or being able to talk to fellow club leaders or new members face to face, RM's clubs are well underway and stronger than ever.